What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel. You already know the deal. We're always chasing ways to improve, to get sharper, and to build a team that can bring real results back to Pittsburgh. Every move, every adjustment, every storyline, it all matters. And today, we've got a story that just might surprise you. Before we dive in, hit that like button to show your black and gold pride. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss exclusive Steelers updates. All right, let's get into it. So here's where things get interesting. We all know the Steelers' wide receiver room looks very different heading into this season. In a move that shocked some fans, Pittsburgh decided to deal away George Pickens, yes, despite his production. In return, the Steelers landed DK Metcalf, a monster of an athlete and a proven playmaker who's now set to lead this receiver group. Now, let's be real. Metcalf is an incredible talent. He brings size, speed, and attitude that fits right into the Steelers' mold. But here's the concern. Outside of Metcalf, this wide receiver room is, let's just say, not exactly stacked. Compared to other teams around the league, it might actually be one of the thinnest groups. And in today's NFL, depth at wideout can make or break an offense. That means guys lower on the depth chart are going to have to step up in a big way. And that brings us to the surprising name who could carve out a legitimate role in this offense, Ben Skowronek. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know Skowronek was already valuable to this team on special teams last season. That's where he earned his keep. Tough, disciplined, doing the dirty work. But this year, the circumstances have changed. With Pickens gone and a new offensive scheme in place, Skowronek suddenly has a pathway to seeing significant snaps at wide receiver. During training camp and throughout the preseason, Skowronek has flashed. He's shown that he can be that bigger body wideout option compared to smaller guys like Calvin Austin III or Scotty Miller. He doesn't have the same burst as Austin or the same quickness as Miller, but what he does bring is size, toughness, and reliability. And in an Arthur Smith offense, that kind of player has value. Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette went on 937 The Fan and gave his insight into Skowronek's role. And let me tell you, he painted a picture that Steelers Nation should pay attention to. According to Fittipaldo, the thing about Arthur Smith's offense, if they want to run the ball, you're going to see Ben Skowronek out there as the second receiver on a lot of these occasions. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith are going to be the second and third receivers. And I think Wilson and Austin are going to get their fair share, but I don't think it's going to be anything approaching what other number 2 or number 3 receivers get around the league. That's big. What it means is that Skowronek might not rack up huge targets or gaudy stat lines, but he could become a key piece of the Steelers' offensive identity. Think about it. Blocking, toughness, setting the edge for the run game, being a reliable target on play-action passes. That's exactly the kind of role where a guy like him thrives. Now, here's the challenge. The Steelers' running game hasn't exactly been a strength recently. Last year, they struggled to dominate on the ground. And based on what we've seen in the preseason, honestly, it doesn't look much better right now. That means the passing game has to pull its weight. And with DK Metcalf being the clear number 1, the question is, who fills in the gaps? Skowronek isn't going to lead the team in yards, but his versatility could make him a glue guy who holds the unit together. At the same time, players like Calvin Austin III and Scotty Miller will need to provide that spark of speed and explosiveness. And of course, tight ends Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith are going to function almost like receivers themselves in this offense. The bottom line? Ben Skowronek might be that unexpected piece who gives Arthur Smith flexibility and toughness in key moments. But that's not the only storyline buzzing in Pittsburgh. While we're focused on receivers right now, the Steelers front office has its eyes on the future. Scouts have already been sent across the country to look at potential quarterbacks in the upcoming 2026 NFL Draft, which, by the way, will be held right here in Pittsburgh. Talk about a stage set for drama. According to Alan Saunders of Steelers Now, the Steelers had a scout in Columbia, South Carolina to watch Lenoris Sellers, a potential first-rounder, in action against Virginia Tech. They were also in Columbus to see Arch Manning, who, by the way, struggled against Ohio State. And that's not all. Scouts were in attendance to watch LSU's Garrett Nussmeier, Berto Clemson's Cade Klubnik. And they've also been keeping tabs on Drew Aller at Penn State, who looked sharp against Nevada. The message is clear. The Steelers are preparing for life after Rodgers. Whether it's Sellers, Aller, Manning, or someone else, they want to be ready to find their guy of the future. The preseason is over, And now it's time to get serious. Week 1 is set. Steelers versus Jets. And this isn't just another opener. This one comes loaded with drama. On the Jets side, you got Justin Fields, who believes Pittsburgh misled him during his 2014 stint here. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he'll be fired up to prove something. On our side, Aaron Rodgers, looking to show the Jets exactly what they missed out on after cutting him loose. This matchup isn't just about X's and O's. It's about pride, revenge, and setting the tone for the entire season. On paper, you think this is a mismatch. Pittsburgh has got Mike Tomlin, the longest tenured coach in the NFL, one of the best motivators in the league. The guy has never had a losing season. And the Jets? They've got Aaron Glenn making his head coaching debut. Rookie head coaches in Week 1 usually struggle, so this should be a lock for the Steelers, right? Not so fast. There's one stat, one brutal stat that could spell disaster. Steelers Nation, listen to this. Since the start of the 2020s, Mike Tomlin's record against rookie head coaches is 0-7-1. Let me repeat, 0-7-1. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. It almost sounds fake, like it couldn't possibly be real, but the history is there. Time and time again, Tomlin's teams come out flat, unprepared, or simply outcoached when facing a first-year head coach. And now in Week 1, against Aaron Glenn, the trend looms large once again. Let's go through it, because Steelers fans know these games all too well. 2023 season, 3 brutal losses to rookie head coaches. In Week 4, the Steelers were blown out by DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans. Ryans, now seen as one of the brightest young minds, he had Tomlin's number from start to finish. In December, Jonathan Gannon's Arizona Cardinals came to town in a rain-soaked game and embarrassed Pittsburgh. Just 2 weeks later, Shane Steichen and the Colts out-schemed the Steelers again. 3 rookie coaches, 3 losses. 2022 season, the Steelers were outplayed by Mike McDaniel's Miami Dolphins. Yes, there were injuries, and yes, Kenny Pickett was young, but the reality is Tomlin got outmaneuvered.
2021 season. How could anyone forget the tie with Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions? Campbell has grown into a top 5 coach today, but back then, he was still figuring it out. Yet somehow, Tomlin gave him his first non-loss in the NFL. Later that year, Brandon Staley's Chargers won a shootout despite Pittsburgh's furious fourth-quarter comeback. 2020 season, the Browns. Oh, the Browns. The Steelers rested their starters in Week 17 and lost to rookie coach Kevin Stefanski. Fine, we can brush that one off. But then in the wild card round, they got absolutely embarrassed by Cleveland again, even though Stefanski wasn't even on the sidelines due to COVID. That one still stings. Add it all up, and you've got a glaring weakness that the rest of the league has noticed. Tomlin struggles against rookie head coaches. Now the million-dollar question, why? Why does one of the most respected coaches in football keep stumbling in these matchups? Fans have theories. Some believe Tomlin overlooks these games, focusing more on marquee matchups later in the season. Others think he doesn't take rookie head coaches seriously enough, underestimating their schemes. And there's some truth there. A rookie coach brings unpredictability. You don't have years of film on their system. But the problem is, every other team in the league deals with that too, and no one else is losing to rookies at the rate Pittsburgh is. It almost feels like the Steelers come in flat, assuming talent and experience will carry them through, only to get punched in the mouth early and never recover. So here we are heading into Week 1 against the Jets. Aaron Glenn is making his head coaching debut. If history holds, this is exactly the kind of game where Tomlin slips, and the stakes are high. This isn't just about avoiding another rookie coach loss. This is about setting the tone for 2025. Beating the Jets would give Rodgers momentum, give the team confidence, and put the AFC on notice. Losing, it would feed the narrative that Tomlin can't handle rookies, that the Steelers are still inconsistent, and that the same old problems remain. And let's be honest, Jets fans would love nothing more than to see Fields outduel Rodgers in Week 1. That's nightmare fuel for Pittsburgh. The good news is this. Tomlin has had months to prepare. He knows the stat. He knows the storyline. If there was ever a time to put an end to this ugly trend, it's now. The key will be preparation and execution. Don't underestimate Glenn. Don't overlook the Jets. Play disciplined football. Get Rodgers comfortable early. And most importantly, don't let Fields get hot with that chip on his shoulder. If Tomlin and the Steelers can break this curse in Week 1, it could erase years of frustration and give this team the spark it needs. But if not, well, Steelers Nation, buckle up. It could be a long season. So, Steelers Nation, here's what we've got. The wide receiver room is thin after trading away Pickens, but DK Metcalf is now the star. Ben Skowronek is emerging as a surprise contributor, not necessarily in stats, but in value to Arthur Smith's offense. The running game still needs help, which makes players like Skowronek, Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith even more important. And while all of this unfolds, the Steelers are quietly scouting the next franchise quarterback for 2026. This season has so many layers. We've got Rodgers leading the charge, an evolving offense under Arthur Smith, and a front office playing chess 2 steps ahead. And right in the middle of it all, a guy like Ben Skowronek could become one of the most unexpectedly important names of the year. But I want to know what you think. Should Skowronek get significant snaps in this offense? Do you see him as more than just a role player? And out of the quarterbacks Pittsburgh is scouting, who do you think would be the best fit for the future? Drop your answers in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And one more time, Steelers Nation, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you're always in the loop with exclusive Steelers coverage. Here's to a season full of surprises. Let's go Steelers!